Our next location is rather surreal, but that was the intention. You have to come up with something unique to house the artwork of one of the most infamous painters of the 20th century.
Hi, I'm Kathy White. I'm the Deputy Director of the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. Salvador Dali was a painter of the last century who was very influential in an area called surrealism. He had this personality that was larger than just the sum of his paintings. Just a very fertile imagination, and also was a celebrity. He knew how to market himself through venues such as television. He worked in Hollywood. He worked with Disney, the Marx Brothers. He hung out with people like Alice Cooper, and he would walk down the streets of New York with an ocelot or an anteater. So he did kind of publicity stunts.
The artwork on display in the museum started in the early 1940s as a private collection of Reynolds and Eleanor Morse. The Morses were fascinated with Dali's work and soon became lifelong collectors and good friends with Dali and his wife Gala. In 1982, their collection was put on permanent display in St. Petersburg, Florida. On January 11, 2011, at 11 a.m., the collection moved to a more storm-secure building on the St. Petersburg waterfront. 1/11/11 at 11 a.m., a very Dali-esque grand opening.
This collection is completely representative of his entire career.
Dali's life's work is on display at the museum, from his earliest work as a teenager all the way through his giant masterworks that he completed near the end of his life. However, it's Dali's work in surrealism that made him a legend.
And this is where you have images of melting clocks and eggs that are dripping and figures with holes in their back and crutches and all these kind of symbols that are really interesting for individuals and especially for kids when they come here, because they look for these recurring images in Dali's work.
The Dali Museum has 7 of his 18 original masterworks, the most of any museum in the world. These paintings are rich in symbolism and optical illusions and tell a multi-layered visual story, something that Dali has mastered throughout his life.
Behind me is the painting, The Hallucinogenic Toreador, which was painted in 1969. Actually took about a year in total to finish this painting. Its inspiration was the Venus de Milo statue. He saw a box of pencils that had this image on it, the Venus de Milo, and in the shadows, he saw the face of a toreador, a bullfighter.
The image of the toreador can be found in the negative space created by the figures of the Venus de Milo. The green cloth in the central figure creates the necktie of the toreador, and as you move up, you will notice his chin, nose, and eye, which is shedding a tear for the bull, located towards the bottom of the work. This is a commentary on Gala's hatred for bullfighting. Gala was Dali's wife and the inspiration for many of his paintings.
This painting is another large canvas, the masterwork. It's called Galactose desoxyribonucleic acid, which is a combination of Dali's name, Dali, Gala, his wife, and the DNA molecule.
Dali was fascinated by science. It sparked a creativity in him. In this work, Dali tips his hat to Crick and Watson, the team that discovered the DNA molecule, represented by the intertwined men in battle on the right. Dali's masterworks may be difficult to comprehend without being able to study them closely. So we suggest that you take a tour with one of the docents at the museum. The stories come to life right before your eyes.
Dali is a very engaging artist, and he is so much fun for people who don't know art, who are not art aficionados, because his work is interesting. You want to know what is it? What does that mean? What does this painting mean? I really think that the idea of a museum, it can be intimidating for people, but the idea of Dali and his ideas and that kind of craziness that people associate with him is just interesting enough that they come in the door and then they're converted, that this is really, really fun. Art can be great fun and interesting.